Okay, so before we actually started, let's just go over these homework questions then. I'll start with this one. This is number 9. 1/4 to the x plus 1 is equal to 2 to the x. Okay, so when we're solving these sort of simple exponential functions, remember the first thing to do is write them in the same base. This one's kind of tricky because you have a fraction, but really this is just 2 to the negative 2 power. Right?
Okay.
Because 2 to the negative 2 is 1 over 2 to the second power. The negative makes it in the bottom, right? And a 2 to the second is 4, so this is 1 over 4. Right. So this is kind of our side note. This is what we're going to be using to solve this thing. Solve it in red this time. So 1/4, I can rewrite that as 2 to the negative 2. And we're raising that to the x plus 1. That's equal to 2 to the x. And then when you have a power and it's raised to another power, you can just multiply. So that's 2 to the negative 2x minus 2 is equal to 2 to the x. So now I got the same basis. I got the exponents. I can just look at these two exponents and make them equal. So negative 2x minus 2 equal to x, and I just solve that equation. So I'm going to add 2x to both sides. 3x is equal to negative 2, and then divide by 3, x is equal to negative 2/3. So there's your answer.
So is that what you do for all fractions like that? Because like 5 and 7 also had fractions. And so like you just put it to a negative.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Thank you.
Sure.
So because we made the bases similar, that's how you pretty much just, once you do that, you ignore the bases and you just look at the exponents and solve from there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Because if these two things are equal to each other, or let's look at this. If these two are equal to each other, then that must mean the exponents are the same because these are the same, right?
Got it. Okay.
So yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. Alrighty, let's get started with the actual stuff then. Unless you guys have any other questions?
I have a question.
Yep.
So, sorry, this is a bit slow, but like on the same question we just did now, just now.
Yeah.
When I did it, I set the other side as a negative. Does that work too? Because I got the same answer.
Other side is a negative. So you had 2 to
I
the.
said 2 to the 2 times x plus 1.
Like this?
2, well, in parentheses, x plus 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then I said equals negative x. I mean 2 to the negative x.
The negative x. The original question was what now? It was.
That was 1 over 4 to the x plus 1 equals 2 to the x.
Okay, yeah. I see. Good question.
So then I said 1 over 2 squared to the x plus 1 equals 2 to the x, and then
1 over 2 squared.
that was my next step, I mean.
Oh, after this?
Yeah, that was after the first part. I said, sorry, I'm a bit confused.
Sorry, yeah, the first step was you wrote this 2 to the.
Okay, the first step. Well, yeah, that was my next step, yeah. Like, does that work too? I set the other side as a negative.
Okay, and yeah, so this, I think this does work. Let me write this down lower, but actually, I don't think this is really clear what you're doing. I think you should add some extra steps if you're going to do it this way.
Okay.
So what you're doing is you're saying 1/4. Okay,
Well, I said that 1/4 is 1 to the 1 over 2 squared.
Right.
To the x plus 1.
So 1/4 you're replacing with, if I take 1/4 to the negative half power, right? It'd be negative half power, because that would be is equal to 2, because this will be negative will make it 1 over 1/4. So he flips it. So 4 over 1 to the half power, which is 2. Right? Is that what you're saying? This would be, oh, I'm not sure what you're saying actually. 2 to the second power. 1/4 to the negative half power is equal to 2. So you could write this as,
So, okay, what I wrote was 1/2.
uh, 1/2.
1/2 and add a second power to the 2 there on the bottom.
Yeah.
And then all of that to the x plus 1.
To the x plus 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Equals 2 to the x. And then my next step is the one you wrote down there in the bottom.
Oh, okay. I see. So then what you did is
I put the negative on the other side and then brought the 2 up to the power. Does that?
oh yeah, I think that's okay. Yeah. So you took this you took both of these to the negative power then. Yeah. So once you have this step, then you raise. So what you really did is I think you raise this to the negative 1 power. Raise this to negative 1 power. So that means you get 1 over 2 to the second to the negative 1 times x plus 1 is equal to 2 to the negative x. And this is 2 to the negative 2, x plus 1. Oh no. Sorry, you don't have the negative because this here is already 2 to the, this
Yeah.
here is 2 to the negative 1, negative 2, I mean.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 to the negative 2. So 2 to the negative 2 times 2 to times the negative 1 is 2 to the positive 2. So yeah, you do get that. Yeah. So that is okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you do something similar for the other ones too then?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's okay. That makes sense. Just make sure that when someone reads your steps, it's easier for them to follow. So maybe you might have to add an extra step for
Okay.
me. Okay, that sounds good. Let's get started then. Let's see. Let me stop actually.